Dragons. I love them. You love them. Anyone who doesn't, I feel nothing but pity for. Look, I wanted to talk about dragons because, I'm a fantasy writer. And dragons are sort of a big deal for fantasy writers. You have to have an opinion on dragons, and my opinion is they're cool, but I don't use them. See, dragons are awesome, as in they inspire awe and they're really impressive and they take many forms, right? Obviously, you have the giant monster dragon, right? Like in Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire, who are just like anywhere from dog to dolphin level intelligence, right? Uh, whereas you have these really super intelligent, like wise divine dragons from more like Eastern centric stories, right? These sage dragons that speak of lofty things and are very very neutral in the affairs of men, and your mustache dragons. And then you have my favorite kind of dragon, which is your Tolkien dragon, your big, giant, intelligent monster dragon, the winged, four-legged, plotting to kill you and take all your money. Smaug is an incredible, almost the example of this. He likes riddles and he likes to sharpen his wit as well as his talents. And he is greedy and impetuous, and he can and will overthrow a kingdom, and will also get kind of angry and fly off to destroy a village purely out of spite, which is something you don't really get from the other dragons, right? Even when they're up to nefariousness, it's not coming from the same place that Smaug's evil is coming from, right? An idiot dragon is just wants food or whatever, and a wise dragon can have any number of reasons for doing the mysterious things they do. But in my own writing, I aim for a sort of grittier fantasy world. I aim for something, for the most part, grounded in a plausible reality, right? Like, there are still monsters and there are mutant creatures in my series, the White Worm Chronicles, but there's something to be said for the mystery of dragons as a concept. Like, I think that's actually an interesting point in itself, is that dragons are so cool that I think they're almost overused in modern media. You need to ask yourself, how can I make my dragons different if you want to use dragons in your writing? Do they have magical powers of shouting? Are they telepathic? Do they have a place in your world? And if so, what place is that? To me, the idea of a dragon that is almost self-aware, and fearing that they no longer have a place in the world, that's a very interesting idea. If a living dragon does rear its ugly head in my White Worm series, it will be probably that kind of dragon. This old and cryptic, and it's the last of its kind, and it's wondering about its true purpose in a world that seems either to have forgotten it entirely or has mythologized its entire race to the point where people no longer see the true beauty and majesty of dragons, but just see another tired old story. But maybe it's the story that matters most. The idea of a dragon might be stronger than the dragon itself. I mean, who else was freaking terrified when Tyrion saw that bat-winged thing creature fly over his ship in A Dance with Dragons? I mean, not in the show because that was just Drogon, I'm pretty sure. But the weird ass shadow nightmare monster during his Vision Quest safari from hell that Tyrion actually goes on in the books. Yeah. In any case, I'll have you know that my favorite dragon in fiction is, well, actually, I always want to say it's Smaug from The Hobbit, and I'll give him an honorable mention, as well as Parthenax from Skyrim and Tyon Bloodbane from the Dragonlance Chronicles. Sorry again, Joe Manganiello, for the whole issue with the TV show. I'm sure it would have been awesome. But I think my actual personal favorite dragon ever is Grigori from the video game Dragon's Dogma. Grigori is he's like a cross between the angry, evil Smaug type of dragon and the wise old sage divine dragon. He's an agent of change, a servant to the wheel eternal, and his goal is only to challenge the people of the world, and in a way, you might argue, to make the world stronger as a result. But Grigori is also murder happy. He's somewhat egotistical, you might say, and he does not play well within the rules of the universe. He has his duty to the wheel, but he doesn't seem to like it much. And to this end, he really buggers things for the world over and over again by manipulating and enchanting the heroes that come before him, offering them wealth and power and life everlasting if they don't fight him. And like the old school biblical antagonist, right? He is there to test the faith of the hero and see if it is found wanting. If he delights in that process, so what? He's still doing his job, isn't he? Right? That's the way he's sort of going about things. Grigori is a freaking monster. And I haven't even talked about the fact that he is a four-legged, winged, red-scaled D&D style dragon with fingers dexterous enough to perform actual magic. He performs magic spells, and he has like an army of goblins and hobgoblins and cyclopses at his command. He is, in many ways, the perfect example of what an evil Tolkien dragon should be, and a fascinating twist as well on the trope of divine dragon. Uh, and I I think it is knowledge of these forms of dragonkind, right, that make their absence so pronounced in a story. Right? I'll spring a dragon on a D&D party, sure, but that's because I don't have to be half as original as I have to be when I'm writing a novel. But I do just love the mystery and majesty of dragons, right? So yeah, dragons are cool, and I love to work with them in, even if only in legend and in myth and in the whispering hint of dragons. Uh, yeah. So I guess like and subscribe if you like dragons or wizards or me, and hit the bell while you're at it. I do weird stuff like this more often than I care to admit. So yeah, bye. Oh, I forgot. What about Sita Scalus, Dark Eater Midir, or what's his name, Calamite? Like every Dark Souls dragon ever is freaking awesome. Yeah, true story.